4 hours with iOS have given me a few insights about how these platforms differ and how they don't. Our full review of both new iPhones will be live next week. Until then, join me for some quick and early impressions of the iPhone 6 through the eyes of a Windows Phone user. In a few ways, it's striking just how similar iOS and Windows Phone can be. The first is fluidity. Our iPhone may be brand new, but experience with the platform has taught me that its responsiveness stays fairly consistent over time. Well, at least you get to the obsolescence period near the 2-year mark. Windows Phone is in the same boat, though in some ways it's more impressive for its ability to run almost as smoothly on much less capable hardware. Then there's the attention to style over functionality. Say what you will about iOS 8's bold neons and pastels, it's definitely got a cohesive and modern look going on. Style and visual design are obviously hugely important elements of the iOS experience, just like with Microsoft's Metro interface. Underpinning that, and making it possible, is the somewhat rigid thinking in terms of customization. Neither Microsoft nor Apple is terribly interested in giving you free rein over the interface, but here the fundamental differences start to emerge. Microsoft at least lets you rearrange the start screen to fit your preferences. You can change the size and shape of pretty much anything, and also use live tiles to constantly display real-time information. iOS doesn't offer any of that on its Springboard. The home screen is just that, a home base for app shortcuts and nothing else. Sure, the clock is animated now, and the calendar icon shows you the current date, but if you want things like widgets or other glanceable information, you need to look elsewhere, like the notification center. As much sense as this makes, it's also really frustrating to be prevented from doing something as simple as putting an app or folder exactly where you want it. Apple is very much more controlling in this regard. Making up for that is the iPhone's ecosystem edge. Windows Phone has made significant leaps in this area. Amazing ones, really, essentially doubling its available app count in 1 year's time. But the quality of many of those apps lags behind. Whether you're talking about functionality or design, apps built for the iPhone are almost always better designed or just more current, with some Windows Phone apps lagging months behind in terms of updates. And despite Windows Phone's growth, Apple also wins handily on app availability. No matter what you're searching for, odds are good you'll find it on iPhone, which is not at all a guarantee on Windows, especially when it comes to games. In fact, with the exception of the sometimes frustrating iTunes and iCloud, almost everything the iPhone offers in terms of back-end support is more mature. You can even get almost the whole Google suite on the iPhone, which is a pipe dream on Windows Phone. Even Microsoft's own productivity apps are available on the Apple Store. There's a reason the iPhone sells so well, and it's more than just perception. It's because Apple has found a way of tapping into mainstream desires from the mundane to the fantastic. And it's used the resulting growth to make avoiding iOS tantamount to career suicide for most developers. But then again, the iPhone is the iPhone. If you want the latest generation Apple smartphone, you're confined to one of two choices, which is actually, crudely speaking, one choice offered in two sizes. And while the iPhone 6 is very beautiful in some ways, and obviously constructed with epic attention to detail, it's far from flawless, and it won't appeal to everyone. Yet, there are no alternatives on iOS. Meanwhile, on Windows, you can buy anything from a super high-end aluminum phone, to a 41-megapixel camera phone, to a well-balanced flagship, to an ultra-cheap plastic phone. And remember, no matter which way you go, you're going to get nearly the same experience and the same responsiveness. That kind of choice is really powerful when the alternative is putting up with hardware you may not be in love with just to be a part of one particular club. A club with some famous features that Microsoft actually eclipses. Talking to Cortana, for example, can be far more enjoyable than talking to Siri, because you can be a little more relaxed with your word choice. And as good as the iPhone camera can be, it doesn't provide nearly the amount of tweakability or control that, say, the Nokia camera app does. In the end, nearly every choice in technology comes down to a mix of needs, wants, whims, the general vagaries of personal preference. There's no such thing as an objective better or worse here, so if you're looking for one, well, look elsewhere. We're not going to lie to you. More interesting, to me at least, is just how similar Windows Phone and iOS really are, regardless of their status as intractable competitors. I'll have more concrete thoughts after I've spent more than 24 hours with iOS 8, but what I've got for now is this.